My name is Jacques Rousseau and I'm the Environmental Manager here at Singita Sabi Sand. Singita is unique in taking full responsibility for the land that it operates on. In the Sabi Sand, that translates to 5,500 hectares. Each morning I head out to the workshop. I'll meet my team and we'll do a morning meeting and we'll discuss what do we need to do for the day, what are the jobs on order and what's the jobs for the next week so that we can plan for all of our equipment and what we need to use. One of the big responsibilities I have is road maintenance. We have just under 200 kilometers of road on the property that fall onto two different soil types. It becomes a bit of a challenge, particularly in the wet season with a lot of surface runoff. So it's my responsibility to make sure that the roads are kept in a good standard, that we have the correct amount of drainage and that it constantly gets patched so it doesn't cause further erosion down the line. With this time of year, in marula season, we see a sudden influx of elephants. They're known as ecosystem engineers, so they'll come in and they'll push over trees, often in the way of the roads, and it's my responsibility to go out there and clear those roads so that new paths aren't created around them and that we can stick on our designated tracks. We do it in a very specific way. The idea is to try and keep trees growing. Sometimes when they're pushed over, the roots are still in the ground, so it allows us to trim the tree back out of the road. It will start coppicing from the base and we can protect that tree while also allowing for the road to be usable. One of the key strategies that we employ on the property as well is to do patch mosaic burning. So what a patch mosaic is just that we separate the property into a strategic amount of blocks and we burn them at various intervals. This is quite important for us to have that varied approach because it promotes biodiversity in the long run and it allows refuge for animals while also completing our environmental goals at the end of the day. Our system's largely driven by two things, which is soil and soil moisture. It's high on our priority list as managers to manage those two things. The most prominent way in which we've chosen to do that is to put in gabion baskets. Gabion baskets are put into eroded drainage lines, and what they do is help to catch soil moisture and also allow for the slow release of water in rainy events. So this both promotes soil and soil microorganisms sitting behind there, which creates a beautiful growing ground for plants to grow up. This means that our drainages then sort of act as a sponge, which slowly releases water, allowing us to have water on the property long into the dry season. We are constantly doing monitoring and research initiatives on the property. At the moment, we are doing insect data collection. So what we do is we put pitfall traps down, which pitfall traps are just small honey jars that we dig into the subsurface of the soil so that they flush with the ground level, and as insects walk along, they fall into the trap. So we leave them out for 3 days, 4 days at a time, come and collect them, and then we preserve them and identify all of the insects that we get in each trap. This allows us to compare areas quite specifically and more importantly allows us to see how our management techniques are influencing animals on the basal level, on the ground level. These are just a few aspects of my job. It's constantly changing, particularly with the seasons, but the greater purpose that underlines all that we're doing here is to make sure that we keep biological intactness, promote biodiversity and protect this land so that it can be used and enjoyed by future generations and is still here in 100 years' time.